One of the great democratizers of coffee to the general population was the Industrial Revolution, where coffee was given by the bosses to the workers so they could work longer hours and lose fewer limbs in the mills. These days, coffee is second only to oil in global trade. Coffee just won. All those ethical questions, they never got answered. Coffee just rolled right over them. So what are the differences between this and what we're talking about right now? Well, taking a pill isn't a social activity. The coffee houses were obviously a big part of that. And I honestly hope we're not going to go to pill houses and pop pills together. But increasingly our philosophical and scientific and seditious speech is taking place here. And we do go there in our altered states. And we go there all the time. So all the ingredients are there for another enlightenment. So what can we say about this world? Well, like I said, coffee was always seditious, and cognitive enhancers are, and energy, having more energy, are bad for stable social structures. People who have more energy tend to be more discontent. People that are communicating more tend to have more to complain about. And people that aren't tired and overscheduled coming back from work and falling to bed are a lot more likely to do something on those complaints. But I'll tell you why governments can't control this. Because people need that productivity. Because if the nation next to you decides to go with that productivity and you don't, you're going to be a backwater pretty quickly. So it has to spread. It has to get out to as many people as possible, as quickly as possible. So let's talk about these shifting baselines briefly. Because we're talking about not just going from that particular social structure, but we're talking about going from what all started as treatments, or many things started as treatments, and even coffee and chocolate, interestingly, started as medicinal drinks, and they go towards enhancements. In the case of something like Provigil or Adderall, these are things that help the sick but do exactly the same thing for the well. Now the question is, how do we take something that's out there and turn it into something that we affect? Well, this is a process called pathologizing something. And things go from being a state of the human condition to being a disease when we're able to control them. So we change the status of something, change how we perceive something as our technology changes. And there's a wonderful example of this. There's a wonderful example of an enhancement we don't see. And it's an amazing enhancement. We're super beings. All of us. It's considered at this point gone from being an amazing enhancement to a human right. It's something that we require of all of our children before they can attend school. Now imagine if you walked from village to village 500 years ago making all the children immune to childhood diseases. Well, you'd be burned as a witch. Now, in the beginning, vaccination was resisted as something unnatural, something that made us not human anymore. Actually, another wonderful example of that I just love. When Franklin invented the lightning rod, a lot of people got mad at him for subverting the will of God. Now, I think you'd be hard-pressed to find very many people in the Christian community left that think that lightning rods are doing that. But anything you look at in this realm, any of these procedures are just that. There's nothing about them you can look at to say, this is clearly a treatment, and this is clearly an enhancement. And that idea of where we're healthy, and where we're sick, and where we're enhanced is one that changes over time. And we change it as we're able to control it. And I think it's a pretty positive process in a lot of ways. But it's not an easy one. I'm running out of time, I have to roll through quickly. This is anabolic steroids. And for some reason, in a world full of war and ecological collapse and all that, this makes it the State of the Union a lot. I don't think it's that big a deal. Interestingly, a lot of the kind of sins of anabolic steroids were at one point attributed to coffee. And this is cheating. Like, I think probably everyone would agree that in sports, this is cheating. And we have a real problem with people that use anabolic steroids. But let's talk about something else that's becoming popular in sports. This is Tommy John surgery. And they open up the arm and they re-weave the ligaments. And They close it up, and pitchers are able to pitch longer, harder in their life. And at this point, football players are beginning to do it too. Or, going back to this one, LASIK. Athletes are now, they go in multiple times to get better than 20/20 vision. These are almost job requirements rather than cheating. Now, before you say, anabolic steroids have long-term effects and maybe Tommy John surgery doesn't, it's major surgery. It has a risk of death. Somewhere between 5 and 10% of pitchers don't come back from it. They don't pitch again. Now, anabolic steroids, whatever you want to say about them, don't come with a risk of death. And I'm not the only one kind of looking at this. There's a great article from Lowell, but I actually grabbed this for the ad in the corner, and I don't know if you can see it, but it says in the middle of this little ethical argument, it says, Northern California LASIK expert, doc of choice for pro athletes. And we're really not there. So what we really need is a new set of markets, and we need a new set of ethics to handle this, or we're in deep doo-doo. We're in a situation where people are going to seek these things out. The disadvantaged are not going to have access to them. It's just going to drive more division in society. We don't have any choice about this progress. It's coming. What we can do is choose how we react to it. Now, I'm not a complete booster of this. The Enlightenment gave us our modern lives, our modern technology, but it also gave us modern war and the bomb and the Holocaust. We have this opportunity in front of us now. And in a way, to define what it means to be human. But it's really important to note that we've answered this question before. As a matter of fact, our entire history consists of answering this question. We are the species that answers this question. We are the species that redefines ourselves. We've done this many times, and I think we'll do it again. My hope is that we'll do it well. And I want to end on 2 stanzas from this poem, because I think it exemplifies our history of continual redefinition. Adam was my grandfather, a tall, spoiled child, a red clay tower in Eden green and mild. He ripped the sinful pippin from its sanctimonious limb. Adam was my grandfather, and I take after him. Thank you.